Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something absolutely massive. We're talking about a highly lucrative government initiative that's literally designed to completely transform agriculture. Our goal here? To give you a step-by-step playbook pulled straight from the official guidelines so you can actually secure your share of this funding. So, grab a notepad and let's dive right in. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the post-harvest problem. Then, we'll introduce the 1 lakh crore solution, decode the actual financial incentives, and answer your biggest eligibility questions. Finally, we'll walk through the application process itself and talk about how you can maximize your benefits. Section 1. The post-harvest infrastructure problem. So let's look at the core issue this policy is actually trying to solve. Get this. India loses an astonishing 10 to 12% of its agricultural produce to post-harvest losses every single year. I mean, we're talking about crores of rupees in value that are simply rotting away. And why? Mainly because there just aren't enough cold chains, warehouses, or processing units sitting near the farm gates. It's a massive leak in the bucket. Moving to Section 2, a 1 lakh crore solution. Right, so to fix this massive leak in the agricultural economy, the government launched the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, or AIF for short, under the Atmanirbhar Bharat, or Self-Reliant India package. And this thing is armed with a staggering 1 lakh crore rupee corpus. Its entire purpose? To directly incentivize investments in post-harvest management infrastructure and community farming assets all across the country. Seriously, it's an unprecedented pool of capital just waiting to be deployed. Section 3. Decoding the financial incentives. Now, what's really interesting about this scheme is the incredible financial leverage it gives you through an interest subvention. If you're not familiar with that term, it's essentially a government discount on your loan's interest rate. You actually get a 3% per annum reduction on your outstanding loan. This is available for a maximum period of 7 years from the date of your very first disbursement, and it applies to loans up to 2 crore rupees per project. So what does this mean in real terms? Well, if your standard bank rate is around 7 or 8%, your effective interest rate suddenly drops to around 4 or 5%. For any business owner, that makes a world of difference to a project's cash flow. It's a total game changer. But wait, the benefits don't stop at the interest rate. Compared to the heavy collateral burden you'd normally face with a standard bank loan, an AIF-backed loan provides incredible relief. To reduce the risk perception for lending institutions, the AIF provides a credit guarantee cover of up to 85% through the CGTMSE. That's the Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for micro and small enterprises, for loans up to 2 crore rupees. And the absolute best part? The government actually bears the guarantee fee. It is a completely zero-cost benefit for you. And here's a detail you absolutely cannot miss. That 2 crore rupee limit, it applies per project. That means a single borrower can actually use this AIF loan for up to 25 different projects in completely different locations. If you do the math on that, it unlocks a potential 50 crore rupee exposure under this highly subsidized scheme. It is literally built for serious, massive expansion. Okay, Section 4. Who is eligible to apply? You're probably sitting there wondering, do I actually qualify for this? To answer that accurately, we're going to bust some common myths right now, using the official frequently asked questions pulled directly from the source guide. Probably the biggest myth surrounding government loans is that they're deeply conservative and only really meant for established legacy businesses. So the big question is, can a brand new business or an agri-startup apply under the AIF? The definitive answer from the guidelines is a resounding yes. New businesses, agri-startups, and even first-time entrepreneurs are completely eligible to apply. The really crucial point here, though, is that you must have a viable project plan and, most importantly, a very strong banker-grade detailed project report. That's especially true if you're building a greenfield project from scratch. Let's tackle another huge roadblock for new entrepreneurs. You might be wondering, is collateral absolutely mandatory to secure this funding? Do I need to put up my house? Well, collateral is not necessarily mandatory. Because the government is bearing the fee for that 85% credit guarantee cover on loans up to 2 crores, your actual collateral requirement drops significantly. The entire purpose of this structure is to empower small farmers and first-time borrowers. It lets them access formal credit without needing massive pre-existing wealth. In fact, the overall eligibility is incredibly broad. It spans across individual farmers, farmer-producer organizations, self-help groups, cooperatives, agri-entrepreneurs, startups,
and even entities promoted by the central or state governments. Honestly, if you're engaged in agriculture and you're building post-harvest assets, there's a very high chance you are eligible.
Moving right along to Section 5, the digital application process. So, how do you actually get the money? The good news is the process is entirely digital and progresses through 7 key stages. Step 1. You register on the portal, that's agriinfra.coda.gov.in, using your Aadhaar and PAN. Step 2 is preparing that comprehensive detailed project report we talked about. Step 3 is submitting the application online, where you actually select your preferred lending institution. Then, Step 4 is where your selected bank takes over for processing and appraisal. If all goes well and they approve it, your project moves to Stage 5, which is the loan sanction. And finally, we hit Stages 6 and 7, which involve the actual execution of your project and the milestone-linked disbursement of your funds as you hit your targets. Simple, right? All right, our final section, Section 6, maximizing benefits through convergence. Now, a very common worry for entrepreneurs is exclusivity. You might be wondering, if I take an AIF loan with this awesome interest subvention, does that lock me out of utilizing other government subsidies? The brilliant answer here is no, it absolutely does not prevent you. In fact, the government actively encourages it. You can actually converge or combine the AIF with other major government schemes. For example, you can stack AIF benefits with the PMFME scheme for microfood processing, the PMEGP for employment generation, or even the production-linked incentive scheme for food processing. This is a massive deal because it allows you to stack capital subsidies right on top of your interest subvention, completely maximizing your project's total financial viability. So, we've seen the sheer scale of the 1 lakh crore agriculture infrastructure fund. With its highly scalable structure, zero-cost credit guarantees, and deep interest subventions just waiting to be claimed, the path forward is incredibly clear. Look, the infrastructure gap in India is huge, and the capital to fix it is available right now. The only provocative question left to ask yourself is, how will you use this playbook to transform your agribusiness and build India's next great post-harvest asset? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. See you next time.